Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well today. Off the back of Chelsea's win in the quarterfinal that sends them to the semi-final to go and play against Thiago Silva's Fluminense. And also we've just watched, and I've done the watch along, and I hope all of you enjoyed it. I mean, what an end that was between PSG and Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, the much better team, but absolutely wasteful. And PSG just cut them up like they cut up some fruit at the end of that with 9 men. And they still managed to get a goal with that. Finished 2-0. PSG moved to the semi-final to play either Real Madrid or Borussia Dortmund, who we're going to find out not too long from now in terms of who goes through there. But loads of things have happened in the duration of today, and we're going to go through it now. Now make sure you guys are subscribed, notification bell on. Go and check out the review from yesterday's game if you didn't catch it already, or technically this morning where we won against Palmeiras. And also go and have a look at the watch long for the PSG Bayern Munich game that we did, to go and check the reactions. There will be watch longs for the semi-finals, both semi-finals irrespective, and the final irrespective. So make sure you guys are going to be there for that. Much appreciated. Like I've said, subscribe and hit that bell to be notified. Let's get up and running. What has happened at the Chelsea? Yeah? What has happened at the Chelsea? Well, let's go into this in terms of... I want to do this in order. Yeah? I want to do this in order, in correct order. So, let's start off with what we initially heard in the start of the day about Noni Madueke. Because guess what, guys? Today has confirmed it. Things are happening. So let's start. Here it is. We had Fabrizio saying, understand Arsenal have now started advancing on personal terms. Discussions with Noni Madueke. Madueke hasn't asked to leave Chelsea at this stage, focused on Club World Cup. Meanwhile, he's understood to be open to Arsenal move. Nothing agreed or close between clubs yet. Then we got David Ornstein with a bomber telling us Noni Madueke agrees personal terms with Arsenal as they consider approaching Chelsea for England international. Arsenal have 23-year-old green light. Strong relations with Chelsea, but no club-to-club talks yet. Firm option to bolster on both wings. That was from David Ornstein. And then we started getting all the information flooding through. Florian Plettenberg, I understand personal terms between Arsenal and Madueke are almost agreed. 23-year-old winger has given the green light to join Arsenal. An offer was already submitted to Madueke, as exclusively revealed 4 days ago. No agreement yet between Chelsea and Arsenal, but the deal is on. And we then got Ben Jacob saying Noni Madueke has now agreed terms with Arsenal, but AFC Arsenal yet to approach Chelsea as they decide whether to bid. Chelsea are open to a sale at the right price. Several other attackers or wingers already signed to use as a valuation yardstick. Arsenal appreciate Madueke because he can play on both sides. This is what's gone down in relation to Madueke. Now, there is more, but we're going to come to that in a bit. Hold that thought and put it on the shelf because we know there's another player involved. Let's just say there is a massive Arsenal meltdown going on today, and I'm all for it. Personally, I'm all for it. But Madueke has agreed personal terms with Arsenal. Done. There is nothing stopping the move from happening now. The only thing that has to be done now is the money between the clubs. And look, it's clear that if Madueke has agreed personal terms with Arsenal, then he's on his way out. He wants to go. You know, he's happy to go. At the bare minimum, he's happy to leave. And if you're happy to leave, then see you later, mate. Simple as that. See you later. Now, we're going to come to the ins and outs on who could be replacing or what the dynamics could look like. But when it comes to Madueke, I'm seeing the debate in amongst Chelsea fans of, are we making a mistake? Is this going to bite us back on the backside? Or are we going to regret this? Personally, no. Us losing Madueke, I don't think hurts Chelsea. And even Madueke going to Arsenal doesn't threaten me whatsoever. Because he's going to Arsenal, he's going to be a backup to Saka. He's not getting ahead of Saka. You can forget it. But just like they're getting Eze in to play on the left-hand side, and Madueke can shift in between both wings if he really, really has to. We've seen it at Chelsea from time to time. Towards the latter stage anyway. But Martinelli, Eze, Saka, Madueke. That's it. there'll be rotation. There will be more rest. Saka has a history of injuries, so that will allow a little bit of pressure to be alleviated. And that's where Madueke will be used. But does Madueke walk into Arsenal as a needle mover, as someone that improves the squad by a big amount? No, I don't think so. I think he'll go there and he'll have moments. He'll be a good option in the squad, but in the same way they bought Havertz, and Havertz has been, he's been all right. It's just more of all right. It's not someone, okay, if Arsenal were getting Rodrigo, different story. Do you get what I mean? But the Madueke isn't that. So I don't feel threatened. And when you look at Chelsea, this depends on now what Chelsea does. If we let go of Madueke, what are we going to do? We know the options we currently have, and we can actually manage. Even right now, without Madueke, we're all right. We've got Pedro Neto, we've got Cole Palmer who can play there, we've got Esteval Willian who can play there. We're okay. But we know what we need to do, and I'm going to come to that later. But Madueke going to Arsenal doesn't threaten me. All I want is a very good deal. Yeah, we've seen Elanga, who's about to move from Nottingham Forest over to Newcastle, it seems, for 60 million. I'm sorry, but that's a benchmark, just like it was mentioned. That's a benchmark then. So at the bare minimum, I want 50 million for Madueke. 50 plus add-ons. We should honestly try and get 50 plus 10. And Arsenal, listen, you're Arsenal. You got premium tax because you're Arsenal. We're not selling to flipping Everton. We're not selling to... Do you know what I mean? We're not selling to someone that's not going to be a direct competitor with us. We're selling to Arsenal. I'm sorry, but there should be a premium on top of the price just because it's Arsenal. So I would want around 50 million for him. And that would be good business. That would be good business. Like I've said, we've seen enough of Madueke to know. I'll give you my honest opinion. I don't think Madueke goes to Arsenal and explodes. I don't think so. I feel like if he was going to explode, he would have done it already. And he's not. Let's be honest, he's not. He's 23 and he's still being touted as he's developing, guys. He's developing. But the rate of development is not very high. It's very, very, very gradual. And I think that's where, even with time, we're just probably going to get a bit more of the same. He'll have games where he looks really good, like he has for us. Don't get me wrong. But he's not going to light it up on fire. I'm pretty convinced. So we'll be fine. And we're not threatened, as far as I'm concerned. But what do Chelsea need to do? Well, let's get to more news on what is apparently going to transpire because of this deal. Starting off back at Arsenal. Check this out. Chelsea have been showing interest in Ethan Nwaneri situation only in case new deal won't be sealed with Arsenal. Nwaneri and Arsenal in talks over new deal while player wants game time guaranteed. Separate deal for Madueke, who's agreed personal terms with Arsenal. Now, Arsenal fans, have already had a bit of a meltdown because of Madueke. The majority of the Arsenal fan base do not want Madueke. They do not rate him. They do not rate him. And this is also why I've got to be honest with myself here and be honest with ourselves. I know we're Chelsea fans and he's had a couple of good moments for us. But again, he's no needle mover. He's not someone that's like, oh my goodness. Like, it's just not. He's a decent winger. That's it. And Arsenal fans, at least for their club, have noticed that. And they don't want him near them. But it looks like it's going to happen because on a squad standpoint, when you look at Saka as your main winger and Madueke as a backup, that's actually good structure. It's why I want Hato at Chelsea to play as a backup to Cucurella. That's good structure. For Arsenal, it works. I get it. But it's a lot of money to bring in for a backup. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, cool. I'm cool with it. Arsenal fans are not cool with it. What else they're not cool with is if they actually let go of Nwaneri in the process. Because he's their star boy. Now, you've just read, he wants guaranteed playing time. I'm sorry, but as a winger, he's a winger who can also play as a 10. A right winger who can play as a 10. Nwaneri is not going to get minutes. Simple as that. You've got Saka and you'd have Madueke as a backup. Nwaneri's not getting it. You could argue, but he won't get minutes at Chelsea either. Yeah, correct, he won't. He won't, especially if we're going to go and get who I think we're going to go and get, and I'll get to that after this. But we got Strasbourg. And Nwaneri is only 18. So if you want playing time, we can assure you playing time. Not a problem. You'll play. Just not at Chelsea yet. But if you stayed at Arsenal, you ain't playing at all. Unless you get a loan move somewhere. And God knows what's going to happen there. But at least with Chelsea, and this is the one positive about having the structure that we have, is that it actually develops a sort of pathway. You can see, because everything's linked, that, oh, you know what? Yeah, I can like start here and then lead to there. If you just went on a loan at Arsenal, there's no guarantee you're coming back to Arsenal. You might just get sold. But if you've gone to Strasbourg and you show yourself and you prove, there's no money spent to bring you from Strasbourg to Chelsea. The money's already been spent. You know what I mean? So it's an immediate pathway. If you prove yourself, you can get into the Chelsea team. We can assure you playing time that way. The thing with Ethan Nwaneri is that in 2023, when Todd Bowley was sporting director, you remember the whole shenanigans when he put himself in that role? He met his parents. He met Ethan Nwaneri's parents. He wanted him, but Nwaneri wanted to see what Arsenal were going to do. Right? So he stayed. Now, they're talking over a new deal, but he wants playing time, and this is why Chelsea, I think, are still interested. They still want to bring him in, but we've got Strasbourg. So, make a decision. The thing, I'm not too fussed on Nwaneri, but there's one thing that makes me intrigued, and you know what that is? The whole Arsenal fan base rate him. Everyone is like, nah, he's our star boy. Well, great. Take him away from them. just for smoke. Just for the bants. Like, you know, if they rate him highly, look, they get Maduike, they're already rattled. You take away Nwaneri, we're going to see a nuclear fallout at the Emirates with that fan base. Yeah, they're going to be kicking off left, right, and centre. Cool, let it happen. I'm all for it. Bring Nwaneri, send him to Strasbourg. Let him prove himself. Let him have game time. Let him have minutes in France. Let him develop, and we'll see what happens. But at least he'll be under our umbrella, you know, and not Arsenal's, because they all really, really like him and they all rate him really, really highly. Well, you know, let's get them rattled even more. It's not personal, Arsenal. I'm just, you know, Arsenal, Chelsea, we got this. You know, you do the same for us, so we're doing this for you. Simple as that. So that's what's happening on that side. Let me know your thoughts on that. But let's get into more on Madueke. More on Noni Madueke, an Arsenal story reported earlier today. The agreement on personal terms is ready and done, with parties advancing on details this morning. Madueke said yes to Mikel Arteta's project. Club-to-club talks will start in the upcoming days. We also have Max here, so CFCPYS, personal account, saying talks opened between Berta and Winstanley for Madueke, so both sporting directors. Chelsea will use Elanga valuation as a yardstick, but they are happy to accept around £45 million, as the club's view is that he doesn't want to be here. And we heard Maresca mention this yesterday. He didn't say it in a condescending tone, but he said it in a way of, look, this is for anyone. If you don't want to be here, then see you later. We won't plan with you. End of story. Bye. And he used that response after being asked about Madueke. But he did make the point, it's not necessarily just about Madueke, this goes for everyone. But that's how it is, and that's how it is now with Madueke. You've agreed personal terms, see you later, you're gone, bye. Bye. 45 million with considerable add-ons, I would take as well. I want 50. But if we 45 plus 10 or 15, then cool. That's a decent deal. So we'll see what happens. But are we going to get Nwaneri in the process? Here is where I would accept the Madueke going to Arsenal thing happening. Is if we get a proper replacement. Now, if we give them Madueke and we get Nwaneri from them and that's it, I've got a problem here. No. Because we do need the good amount of depth in the squad. I laid out the options for you, but that's also considering who we know is going to be based in attacking midfield. And that's going to be Palmer and Esteval Willian. We know that. They can play on the right, but they're options. But realistically, without Madueke, we've got Pedro Neto. That's it. So we do need someone else to come in. If we let go of Madueke, we have to bring someone in. Who are we going to bring in? Well, let's talk about that. Let's get into it. Here's the latest on Kudus. West Ham United are confident that Chelsea will submit a better offer for Mohamed Kudus than Tottenham's current bid. It is also hoped that other clubs will join the competition as well. This is from ex-West Ham United employee. We also have this. So West Ham are confident that Chelsea will submit a better offer for Mohamed Kudus than Tottenham's current bid. From ex-West Ham United employee via last word on Spurs. And have I got one more to show you on Kudus? No, I don't. I've got another thing to talk about. But Chelsea going to put in a better bid than Tottenham for Mohamed Kudus. I can totally see this happening. We've gone really far in the Club World Cup. We're collecting prize money like we're collecting coins on Mario Kart. We are gonna get money in for Maduike. We're gonna get money in for all the outgoings. We're gonna be okay in terms of net spend here. We can go in and get a Mohamed Kudus. I would argue, and you know that I'm not an ITK, right? I'm not an ITK. But I would like to think, and I've heard some whispers, and I hope it's true, yeah. We could look for Rodrigo. I hope. But what I will say, because I understand that going for Rodrigo is going to be pretty difficult, and if he's going to stay at Real Madrid, he stays at Real Madrid. But I am going to say that if that is a possible deal, do it. If it's not, Kudus is an upgrade on Madueke for me. So if we're letting go of Madueke, we get one of those two. I mean, Rodrigo would be mind-blowing. If we get Rodrigo, flipping hell, that's the level that we are wanting at this football club. Do you know what I mean? We get Rodrigo and all of a sudden we are talking serious stuff here. So we should go in for someone like Rodrigo. If it's possible and he's leaving Real Madrid, cool. At the same time, we should prepare just in case if that cannot happen for any reason that it cannot, because we're dealing with Real Madrid here. And if Rodrigo and Xabi Alonso come to an understanding that he's going to play and he's got a future and he's in the plan and all of that, then fine, fair enough. But Kudus should be brought in that case. If we let go of Madueke, we bring in Kudus, fantastic. If we let go of Madueke, we bring in Rodrigo, flipping, we're having a party up in here. You know, but if we're letting go of Madueke and we're only bringing in Nwaneri, I'd bring in Nwaneri anyway, send him to Strasbourg. I would do that just to rattle Arsenal. But if we're only doing that, I've got a problem here because that's leaving ourselves thin. We don't want that. We cannot do that. So let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. And hopefully we can get an upgrade. Any one of those two. I mean, Rodrigo is definitely an upgrade. Kudus, for me, is an upgrade on Madueke. And he's versatile. He can play behind the striker. He can play anywhere across the front line if needed. And it would mean that technically we would have Kudus, Pedro Neto as the two right-wing options. We would have Gittens, and at the moment, Tyreek George as our two winger options. I would consider us having another left winger. Cole Palmer, Esteval Willian as the two attacking midfield options. João Pedro and Liam Delap as the two striker options. I would consider a third if it's going to be Jackson or if he's going to get sold and we bring in, I don't know, someone who's maybe just a third layer or something like that. We can do that. So let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts on all of that. Much appreciated. And to wrap up, we've made an unveiling. Our newest blue is here. We've got, as the reserved sign says, Jamie Gittens is unveiled as a brand new Chelsea player. And here he is with the Chelsea shirt, all done and dusted. Welcome to Chelsea, Jamie Gittens. Fantastic. Fantastic. What I will say, and this is what, well, actually, let's get to what he has said. He has said, it's a great feeling to join such a big club as Chelsea. I can't wait to learn from everyone in the team and to push myself to the max here. It's an amazing feeling. I hope he does well. I really, really hope he does well. Talking about that as well, by the way, Kudus can play on the left, like I said. Anywhere across that front line, Kudus can fill in too. So maybe even what I mentioned earlier about having an option, maybe Kudus is that option. Maybe he's that hybrid. Maybe we're going to get a lot of interchange in between all of the names that I read out. So we'll see what happens. But Gittens, I hope, does well. What I want to say is welcome to Chelsea. I hope you smash it. And what I will also say, because I know this is important, he left England when he was 16. He's now back at 20 years old, I think. So welcome back home. Welcome back to the UK. Welcome back to London. He's from Reading originally. So welcome back to the ends. Yeah, because leaving at such a young age like that is ballsy. It shows he's got personality. There's not a lot of English lads that would leave at 16 to go to Dortmund or to go to another country, another culture like that young. It's rare. So respect to him. Shows he's got guts, personality, courage. Good on him. He done well out there, and I hope he can bring the levels to Chelsea and he can develop and he can become better and he can become big for us. So fingers crossed that's going to be the case. So let me know your thoughts on Gittens, brand new Chelsea player unveiled. I don't think he's going to play for us in the Club World Cup. I don't think he can be involved. I think he's cup tied. So we'll see what happens. And happy birthday to Trev. Happy birthday to one of our own, which is absolutely true. And this is also a reason why I'm showing, because he is one of our own. Happy birthday, Trev. Hope you had a good one. And I saw George, met him yesterday. I think it was yesterday, last night. He bumped into him and they took a picture. So congrats to George on meeting Trev. And he did tell him happy birthday as well, by the way. So that was that. But happy birthday to Trev. And I hope he's had a good one. And he's been really good for us in this tournament so far. It hits better when you know it's come from Cobham. Do you know what I mean? Because it's one of our own, like it says. So we'll wrap it there. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll see who else gets to the semi-final, and then it's on to Fluminense in 3 days' time. Bring it on. But we'll be here for the semi-final watch-alongs for both and the final, like I said. In the meantime, double uploads. We'll keep you updated on all that transpires tomorrow, so make sure you guys are here as well, and all the days after that as well. Subscribe, notification bell on, and I'll catch all of you tomorrow for a couple of new ones. Have a good one, people. Look after yourselves. See you tomorrow. Take care, and peace.